That is that. JTT wasn't the only official visitor this past weekend. Dallan Hayden, the running back out of Memphis, number 4 running back in the nation, number 237 overall. Sounds like he's the most likely running back in this class for Ohio State. When you watch his highlights, to me, he's kind of it's maybe a poor man's J.K. Dobbins. Doesn't maybe have Dobbins' top speed, and I can hear people saying, "Oh, Dobbins didn't have top speed." He does. Relax. But Hayden, what I really like about him, he's just really comfortable in traffic, and he's got really good vision, and so maybe he's as fast as Mike Weber. You're as fast as Mike Weber. You're comfortable in traffic. You can do a lot of things. And if there's also, and I'm not taking anything away from Hayden, there's only so I guess the talent level of the running back that you can get in this class, I think, is only so high based on the talent level of the previous class. But the fact that you can get somebody like Dallan Hayden, who, if he signs with Ohio State, there's really not a lot of fear there from him, which you also like. So the guys who take themselves out by saying, no, I don't, I'm not even going to be, I don't want to compete with that. That's fine. Go. The guys who are like, you know what, I would still very much like to be a part of this. Then they kind of weed themselves out. And we'll see. Sounds like maybe something happening this week with him. We'll see.
Yeah, and you got to remember, they took in Travion Henderson and Evan Pryor last year. That's already a loaded room. So whoever's coming in now is coming in 1 year behind a guy who's a 5-star recruit who you've heard us talk about Travion Henderson quite a bit. We were impressed with Evan Pryor, and a little bit we got to see Evan Pryor this spring. So you have a difficult path to a playing field. You're not going to walk on the campus and immediately be a 25, 30 carry a game back. Like, that's not what you're going to do if you're the 2022 Ohio State running back. And they're only looking at one back this year because I think they're feeling pretty good about a couple guys in 2023 already. So this is kind of like the off year. This is, you're doing your you have your presidential election year, and then you have your Senate year, and then you have the year that it's just kind of the municipal elections. Like, this is kind of the municipal election year where it's like, these are still important, but you still have to, you're gonna not have quite as much interest. You're not going to have quite as much, volume in the class if you want to. Like, this is the one running back year, 2 last year, probably 2 next year, probably a couple pretty big names next year based on what we're sort of hearing right now. So yeah, this is okay. You need your guy. Most positions, most quarterback rooms are not like 5-star, 5-star, 5-star like Ohio State has been doing. You normally have the 5-star and then like the 3 or 4-star year, and then maybe get another 5-star if you're recruiting at that level. This is kind of the okay. Got a year in the middle of get another guy, continue building the depth. This is a guy who is good enough to play, who's good enough to contribute, probably fairly early in his career. And yeah, I mean, to your point, like Mike Weber, J.K. Dobbins, if he's either of those people, those guys are both extremely productive running backs at Ohio State. So you need to keep getting guys who can play at that level, who can contribute at that level, and then on to next year. So yeah, that does sound like one that don't be surprised if you hear news on that one in the relatively short-term future.
And I know on the message board it was brought up. This line of thinking was brought up. Like, you can't bring in a 5-star guy every year. And somebody said, well, Nick Saban does it. Actually, Nick Saban has only done it like once, where he's had back-to-back years of a 5-star running back. So he doesn't do it every year. So it's not a normal thing. You say it's like elections. Me being a soccer buff, it's kind of like the Euros being every 4 years, but it's in between the World Cup. Like, it's like the 2020 Euros are going on right now. Whereas, so it'll be 2020 and 2024. The World Cup is 2022, 2026. It's, it's not as big as the World Cup, but it's still a little fun. And Copa Americana is going on. That's just something I learned about as well.
I feel like if I asked you any follow-up question right now, there would be a lot of stammering, and you'd be frankly texting our buddy Pat Murphy to see if you could get the answer from him on any follow-up question. But I have no follow-up questions, fortunately for you.
Oh, is that because you don't know anything about soccer, mister?
I can explain about local elections if you'd like. That was the analogy I chose to use. One thing with the 5-star thing is you could do that at some point in the past. Now with the transfer portal, if you're getting a bunch of 5-stars, these are guys who are expecting to play. And if they're not playing, then they're hitting the portal and then you have nothing. So I think it's all about building, Why don't they just tell everyone, oh, yeah, absolutely, you'll play right away, like, and keep bringing in 5-star guys? Like, well, because you do that, and then they come in and they go, you told me I was going to play right away, and then they leave, and then you have no one, and that's a problem. So you have to be kind of on. You have to be real straightforward with these kids and honest about here's what, here's the guys ahead of you. Here's what we see out of them right now. Here's where we see you fitting. Here's the sort of the progression we see for you, and if that works for them, great, and if not, like, that's okay too. So that's the other piece of this, that you can't just get, this is not NCAA 13. You can't just stack 7 5-star quarterbacks in your quarterback room and just everyone sits there happily until you point your finger at them and say, now it's your turn to go win the Heisman Trophy. Like, that's not how it works at all anymore.